What's up, everybody? It's Julian from the Draft Lives here. I'm back with another mock draft, and yeah, it's on a Wednesday. Not traditional, but that's all right. We're gonna get right to it. Um, this is gonna be a no trade predictive mock draft, so I'm not going based off my board. I'm predicting what I think will happen if the draft was today. So we'll start off with the New York Giants, who are still hanging on to that number one pick, tied record with the Las Vegas Raiders. And if they cannot move out of this spot, they're gonna likely go Carnell Tate. I think they'll end up going Tate somehow, some way or another. They can probably double trade down. They can trade down with the Raiders for whatever a third round pick, and then they'll call the Cardinals and Jets and be like, listen, we'll move down again. That could be a really smart move. I don't know if Joe Shane will be the GM come April, but that's all relative. I guess we'll find out. Regardless, the Raiders will desperately need a QB in April. This is going to be Fernando Mendoza. He just won the Heisman. He's not by far QB1, but he's definitely QB1 in this class and probably the most pro-ready QB if he can be in a system similar to Indiana. It's not really a pro system at Indiana, but run a lot of RPO, and we see more and more RPO in the NFL. So I think he'll succeed as a Raider, and that's pretty much. I mean, you could put ink on that Fernando Mendoza will be a top three pick to whatever team needs a QB. Now we got the Titans, and usually a lot of people go Arvell Reese because they have Arvell Reese very high on their board. I'm a big Ruben Bain guy, and I think he fits the Titans a bit better. They already drafted Oluwafemi Oladejo in the very highly. It was a second round last year, and he's similar. He was a linebacker at UCLA, and he played edge rusher. You don't need two of those. Yeah, it's great pass rushers, but who's going to stop the run? Who's going to also be good at pass rushing and be a three down player? There's concerns with Ruben Bain's height and athleticism, and we could wait for the combine and the measurements for that. Right now, he's a very good player and very high on my board, and I think he'll be higher on NFL boards than Arvell Reese, especially depending on their scheme. So here we are to the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I could go Dante Moore here, but not that I'm a Shadur Sanders guy, but I think that the Browns are in a very bad situation all around. They don't have an offensive line. They barely have a coach that likes the QBs that they have. I don't even think Stefanski likes Dylan Gabriel because Dylan Gabriel's not that good. They'll likely have a new coach in April, and they need to build around anybody. If Shadur's not that guy midway through next year, that's fine. That's fine. You have a first round pick next year. You could get your QB. You could trade up. Deshaun Watson will be on the roster. Maybe he has some career revival. I doubt that, but you build around. You go Jordan Tyson. The injuries are a concern with Tyson, but in the end, he's been fantastic on film. And yeah, the injuries are a concern. But at this point, do you go with someone less athletic with potentially a lower ceiling and Makai Lemon? You cannot abandon the offense. I know there's a lot of defense players high on the board. Your running backs are fine. So it's one of those where you go Jordan Tyson and just pray that the conditioning in the NFL helps him and he stays healthy. Now the Jets, they have two first round picks. They have three next year. The argument of waiting for a QB in the next class, I think, is very silly. You have no idea what's going to happen in the next class. That Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell class, a few years, well, Spencer Rattler didn't end up declaring, but when Rattler was at Oklahoma, Howell was at UNC, that was supposed to be a generational class. You were supposed to have a bunch of good QBs. Turns out they were all bad except for Brock Purdy, who was actually projected high and went low after a bad senior season. So it really is something you cannot predict. You don't wait for next year. Go get your guy. Go get Dante Moore. Yeah, they could trade up and get Mendoza if that's actually their guy, but regardless, they need a QB. Justin Fields is not going to be on the roster next year. Tyrod Taylor's old. This is it. Get your QB and move on from there. Cardinals are in a tough spot. They don't have a QB. They're likely going to release or try and trade Kyler Murray with the contract. He'll likely be released. They're going to run into next year with Jacoby Brissett and likely a later round rookie. So that leaves the Cardinals with holes at guard, tackle. On defense, they need a safety, they need a linebacker, they need more edge help, they need to stop the run a bit better. So this is somewhere where you could do anything, and it's not really a bad selection. I will go. I think I'm going to go Francis Marinoa here. I will go Marinoa. He could play guard, he could play tackle. He's been a very good phone blocker. He's got great size for the position. I think his athleticism leaves something to be desired, but if that's the case in the NFL, move him to guard, and he projects well at guard. Um, Cardinals do have a lot of issues, and it's going to be a tough rebuild. But they started a rebuild sort of with Paris Johnson. Now they can start it with another bookend tackle and Francis Maunoa. Here we are with the Saints. I posted a mock draft on Twitter today. It's going the same. I'm not sure if I'll keep every pick the same, but so far it's the same, including this Jeremiah Love pick. Yeah, Alvin Kamara's contract extension last year, it's not looking too great. He's been injured. I think he also deserves better. It's just he's an older running back. He's been with the Saints for God knows how long. Um, he'll likely be moved in the offseason. And it looks like Tyler Shuff has been very, very decent for the Saints. They have a very good bookend tackles. Their interior leaves something to be desired, but you really can't go interior O line at 7. They do need receiver, but I'm not sure if Makai Lemon is that type of guy that they need right now. He's a very good player, but I think establishing a run game with a running back duo of Jeremiah Love and Devin Neal, I think that will do really well. They have a good run blocking offensive line, and their defense is very good. The the option in the back of my head was Arvell Reese, but I decided not to go him. I will go Arvell Reese for the Washington Commanders. They really don't have an edge rusher. They don't really have much. It's been difficult this year for the Commanders. A lot of injuries, but they have a lot of older players. A lot of players are going to be leaving in free agency, retiring even, and a lot of players recovering from injury. So why not start off with a linebacker edge rusher hybrid? Very good at both positions. He can, like at worst, Arvell Reese, his floor is a very good run stopping linebacker with elite athleticism, which alone that warrants probably a top 100 pick. You see a lot of linebackers go that are run stopping linebackers with good athleticism. Well, he can also rush the passer at a high level. Over 200 snaps at edge rusher, rushing the passer, which is nice as he's been productive at that position. But you want to see a bit more in college, and I think with NFL coaching, he could potentially hit that ceiling. That's why he'll go in the top 10, but he's not my edge rusher number 1. Now, the Bengals are also in a tough spot. I'd even argue worse spot than the Commanders. They're paying two very good receivers a lot of money, and their QB's disgruntled still because that offensive line is atrocious. The coaching staff has been bad, and the defense has been very bad. So you're in a tough position here where, okay, who are you going to please? You're probably going to have a new coach heading into next year. Do you put a band aid on the defense? Do you help the offensive line? It is a difficult selection here, but I'm gonna go Jamal McCoy. You can't go wrong with Jamal McCoy. Is kind of what people have been saying. I disagree. You can go wrong. He missed an entire year due to an ACL injury. He declared for the draft, which is the smart idea, seemingly that everyone's still very high on him. It's not a necessity to pick him here because Mansour Delane is higher on my board, and I'm sure he'll be higher depending on the scheme for certain teams. The testing and the medical tests for Jermon McCoy will impact his draft stock a lot. So we'll see. For now, we'll pretend everything's good. I hope everything is good. I hope he's fully healthy and ready to attack the NFL full speed ahead. So I'm going to take him here at 9. Bengals are atrocious. They need linebacker. They need edge rusher. I'm going to go corner because they also don't have great back end coverage. A lot of it just comes from, yeah, you could pick on the middle of the field. Why test a cornerback even if he's bad when the middle of the field's wide open and you're sitting in a clean pocket? The Los Angeles Rams, I mean, this is house money right here. They're picking for the Atlanta Falcons because the Falcons decided to trade up with an extra first round pick for James Pierce. Not that that was a bad decision, but it's not looking too great for them as they technically have the 10th overall pick. So yeah, you could go QB. You can make an argument for QB. Rams have a few free agent defensive backs, and I think it's time to stop the slide of Caleb Downs. I don't think this is the immediate need, but since it is just it's an extra first round pick that you don't really have to like you don't really have to pick the number one player that'll help you right away because you could take the best player available with this pick, and it's as if it never happened because you got it really for free trading down last year with the Falcons. I mean, the Rams are a fantastic team. Matthew Stafford's decision for his playing time will impact whatever happens, but unless Ty Simpson declares, until I hear he declares, I'll pretend he's not declaring, even though I still like him as a potential first round player, maybe with the second Rams pick. Yeah, Caleb Downs is a box safety who can play over the top. He can play overhang, very strong. He can defeat offensive tackles at the point of attack for run game too. He's very good. I think Chris Shula, if he's still the defensive coordinator and not a head coach somewhere else, would be very happy with Caleb Downs. Now here we are with my Miami Dolphins at pick 11. At the time I'm recording this, Tua hasn't officially been benched yet, but Mike McDaniel kind of hinted at the fact that he might be benched because he's horrible at football. I mean, those injuries really took a toll on him. It's pretty sad to see. But as a Dolphins fan, I'm looking forward to the draft, man. I mean, this won't be QB here. Like I said, there's not a QB worth taking at 11 until I hear Ty Simpson. And if he plays well in the college football playoff, he might declare. We will go. It's honestly between these two players, Makai Lemon and Keldrick Falk. Miami really needs an edge rusher who could get after the QB, and they really need an extra pass catcher because right now it's Jalen Waddle versus the world. I'm going to go Makai Lemon because it's just the smart decision. I mean, he's a fantastic player. He's not the most athletic, but it's kind of a nice change of pace. Miami usually goes after these like super speed athletes. Obviously, Tyreek Hill, he won't be on the roster next year. Jalen Waddle, he's our receiver one. You can move both of them around, and Makai Lemon is just a great player. Strong hands, which is the opposite of Waddle in the NFL. So it's a good pick. I'd be very happy with this pick if it were to happen in April. And here we go to the Chiefs. Obviously, I hope everyone in the NFL that got injured heals up and is able to play next season, attack the process, and play week one. But Mahomes really did tear his ACL. It's an unfortunate reality for all fans or NFL fans in general. I mean, the NFL is not the same without Mahomes. Thank goodness it happened late in the season uh, when their season was kind of already over and he can move forward and hopefully play next year. But with that being said, they really need help everywhere. Their receivers are bad. They're not using them correctly. Their offensive line has been not good. Travis Kelsey's bad and Noah Gray is very bad. And on defense, they don't really have pass rush. So that's why I'm going to go David Bailey. George Karlaftis got a contract extension and it kind of took a dip in production. Ashton Gelati's not bad, but they don't really have that edge rushing phenom, and I think David Bailey can be that. But if he could be a designated pass rusher to begin his NFL career, I think that's smart. You can have guys like Gelati on the field and Karlaftis stop the run. You still have Chris Jones and drafted Omar Norman Law, so that D line could start looking a bit better and go after defensive backs later in the draft. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, I'm really tempted to go someone like Peter Woods because I just watched them play the Cowboys, and even though they won, the Cowboys' offensive line was moving that defensive line with ease. Jonathan Allen was getting bullied. Javon Hargrave got a contract, but he's probably not going to be on the roster next year. These big money free agents aren't doing it, and then they have a tweener in Tyron Ingram Dawkins. So I'm debating Peter Woods, but I'm probably going to have to go Mansour Delane. I'm going to go Mansour Delane here. I mean, he's a very good player. He is my cornerback one, and the athleticism might not be there, but if Brian Flores is still the defensive coordinator and not a head coach somewhere else, I think he could really take advantage of the skill set Mansour Delane has. Very good man, end zone, could play off, could tackle, and that's kind of what they're missing, like a really good rounded cornerback. Byron Murphy got that extension. He hasn't been great. Isaiah Rodgers is technically a free agent. I'm sure they'll re-sign him, but he's kind of iffy as a tackler, a lot of missed tackles, but he's solid in coverage. He's just not consistent. So if they could look for a consistent corner, Mansour Delane can get the job done. Cowboys, I'm going to make this very nice and easy. Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles, I mean, very good player, former safety. He's got a safety background. His coverage skills are fantastic. Very good player. I mean, this is the type of player that you want if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. It's been tough watching Kenneth Murray week in and week out. They traded for Logan Wilson, and they don't really play him. So like you can't have these band-aids at linebacker. You need a really good, smart linebacker. He'll probably wear the green dot for the Cowboys. Him and Overshown would be honestly a dream come true duo if Overshown can stay healthy. So that's a pick here. Obviously, they need edge rusher, they need corner. Defense was bad against the Vikings, who have been struggling on offense. So it's like, where do you start? Start with a very good player, probably BPA in this position. Keldrick Falk, Cassius Howell are solid fits, but I don't think they're better players than Sonny Styles is right now. Baltimore Ravens, they just embarrassed the Bengals, but it's been a tough year for Baltimore. Likely won't even make the playoffs unless they have a nice comeback for the division, the division title in the AFC North. They need a lot. They need to protect Lamar Jackson. They need to get a pass catcher for Lamar Jackson. They also need to get some edge rushing help on defense. I think that's where I'll go. No, but it looks like there's some rumors that Nnamdi Madubuike might just up and retire. Obviously, his neck injury could be career threatening. Now it's just a deciding factor. I like Caden McDonald. I will go Caden McDonald. It's a little bit of a switch up from the mock draft I posted on my Twitter. I do like Caden McDonald more than Peter Woods. I think Peter Woods, who did declare for the NFL draft, is a good player. but he'll have to wait a little bit more to hear his name called. Caden McDonald is a mauling run stopper, and he's got a little bit of pass rush upside. A lot better than Tyreek Williams, who went in the first round to the Lions in the past draft. And this is the player that the Ravens need, even if Madubuike comes back. You could have him, Travis Jones, who just got extended, and Caden McDonald. That is a dominant trio right there. Onto the Panthers. Panthers would have loved to have, honestly, probably either of these players that just went. I disagree with having edge rusher listed as a need. They've invested a lot over there. I'm going to go interior offensive line. I think we could go Fano because Ikem Ekwonu has been struggling. Taylor Moton's getting up there in age, but Caleb Lomu did declare for the draft today. I'm going to go Jennings Dunker so he can play all three or any of the three interior positions on the offensive line. I really do like Jennings Dunker. His feet in pass protection are not great, which is why people are lower on him as a tackle, but I think he's a mauler in the run game. He's a very smart player, too. If you put him in the inside with that run heavy system that Carolina is trying to establish, I think he'd fit right in, and it'd be a very good pick for them. Defense has been looking very good recently, and the offense, still struggles. So having that guy to protect Bryce Young and increase the efficiency of the run game is a smart decision. I'm gonna go Peter Woods here for the Lions. I mean, this is just another. It's a tough situation for the Lions. Jared Goff is very solid, but he's not like game changing right now. Running backs, what is it? If Jahmyr Gibbs hasn't scored a touchdown in the game, they're 0-7 or something, 0-6. That's despicable. That should not be a statistic for them. They have weapons all over the field. They have good coaching. They shouldn't have to rely just on Jahmyr Gibbs. I know that's kind of like a cherry picked stat, but it is true. The games where he's not going off for 45 fantasy points, they're very lackluster on offense. Last week they had a good game passing, but then once it got to crunch time, the coverage was better, pressure was higher on Jared Goff, and they just couldn't beat the Rams when their defense also couldn't make any stops. Peter Woods could rush a passer. He could stop the run. I'm not as high as the NFL will be on him, but that's fine. Like I said, predictive mock, and he'll likely fit the tenacity that Dan Campbell will want on his defense. Jets already went Dante Moore. I'm going to go Chris Johnson for the Jets here. Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. He accepted a Senior Bowl invite recently, which I'm very excited for. If he can hang in the one-on-ones and even dominate the one-on-ones, this might be the best cornerback in the class. His zone coverage is fantastic. It's a different level. He's able to bite down. He reminds me a lot of Quinyon Mitchell, who played a lot of off-man and off-zone at Toledo and was a dominant force there, went to the NFL, and he's one of the better corners in the NFL right now. And I think Chris Johnson kind of fits the bill there. Like I said, very good zone coverage player. And if he can hang in man at the Senior Bowl, which will be the most man coverage we'll see him play, I mean, what can't he do? He's a very physical player as well. Good size, over 6 foot tall, probably 200 pounds. That's an all around beast corner, and the Jets kind of need that after getting rid of an all around beast corner in Sauce Gardner. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, this has just been a mess. Baker Mayfield went from elite to stinky real quick. They need tight end. Cade Otton's a free agent. I don't like Cade Otton at all. They also need they really do need pass rush. Are we able to get a pass rush here? I'm gonna get Cassius. No, Cash Sal fits the bill here, but I'm really gonna go TJ Parker. TJ Parker had a tough start to the year at Clemson. I mean, that entire Clemson team did. TJ Parker towards the end of the year was kind of in the upper echelon of pass rushers, and him declaring for the draft kind of shows like, hey, I'm confident in my stock. I'm pretty sure he's going to the Senior Bowl. He'll be able to perform there. He'll put on displays pass rush moves. He's kind of a little bit undersized, but he's a heavy player. He's got good hands. He's quick on his feet, and it has developed over the past 2 years at Clemson. He's developed more and more pass rush moves. You can see on tape a little bit of a ghost move, good hand placement, able to shed tackles that are wide setting on him. The Buccaneers lacking that, pass rush. TJ Parker fits in. He'll be able to stop the run right away. Good size, and if he can go in and continue his development as a pass rusher, that'll be a very, very good pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who might have a new head coach as well. It's going to be a lot of coaches fired and a lot of turmoil in the NFL when it comes to the coaching staffs. It's going to be a fun offseason. Here we are with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I mean, obviously they need tight end. They don't need tight end, but they do need receiver. You could argue that they'll need like a defensive tackle, but I think their defense has been very good. Jalen Ramsey's moved to safety, and they are thin at cornerback, but you could address that later in the rounds. Denzel Boston is my receiver one in this class, and people might think he's too similar to DK. I don't think they're similar at all. DK Metcalf is not much of a route runner. He is a powerful player with good athleticism, good hands, and good production with Rodgers this year, even though they like barely had an offseason together. Just goes to show you how good both of those players are. Denzel Boston's a much better route runner. He's very productive, strong hands at the catch point. Like he's overall the best receiver in the class. That's why I have him as the best receiver in this class. I'm not sure the NFL will, but when it comes to scheme fit, I think he fits what the Steelers are looking for. They signed Marquez Valdes-Scantling. That's kind of what they're looking for, a powerful receiver with strong hands, and Denzel Boston fits the bill without being a 1 year flyer on a 34-year-old Adam Thielen or 29-year-old MVS. So I think it could work out great for the Steelers in this situation. The Eagles, I mean, you would want to go edge rusher here. I think Keldrick Falk is a good fit, but it's looking tough out there on the offensive line. Jalen Hurts does not look his best right now. Neither does really anyone. Obviously, they beat the Raiders, but that's the Raiders. We're going to go Caleb Lomu. He declared earlier in the day when I'm recording this. I think he could play tackle, and he could likely move into guard if that's what they really need. I'm sure Lane Johnson will play at least one more year, but Caleb Lomu's not the most polished prospect, so if he's not polished, he could sit behind Lane Johnson, kind of like what they did with Dickerson and Jurgens. You sit behind the veteran player who's going to probably go to the Hall of Fame. Sorry, who's going to definitely go to the Hall of Fame, and then they develop and then eventually come in as a cheap starter when their contract expires and they retire. So that's my pick for them, and I'm sure the Texans aren't too happy about that because they do need offensive line pretty badly. Yeah, I don't like any of the tackles here because outside of Sierveld, I'm just not sure he's a first round guard. So then you could really just up and go the only first round guard that I have a first round grade on, Vega Ioane. He's a good run blocker and he's a very good pass blocker. So if you're able to protect CJ Stroud from the interior, give him more time to process the field, make the throws he needs to make. I mean, you're kind of perfecting your offense there. And then you can focus on like defensive line and depth at these positions. Yeah, Vega Ioane is that kind of missing piece for the Texans offense. I'm not saying they'll be the number one offense next year, but when you think of the Texans offense, they need offensive line. They got rid of Laremy Tunsil and Ariante Ursary's a rookie. He's not been great. You could go tackle here because Trent Brown is a free agent. You did draft Blake Fisher pretty highly, so if you could just hope that he develops well. I'm not saying there's guaranteed going to be a guard. They could have went Spencer Fano, but I do like Vega Ioane for the Texans here. The Cowboys did go Sonny Styles earlier in this mock. I'm going to go Romello Height. People might not be high on height because of his height and his size. He's also going to be a 25-year-old rookie. I don't think that matters too much in this position. Like you have an extra first-round pick because you traded Micah Parsons. Just take the very good player. He's a good pass rusher. He's a great pass rusher. He's also going to the Senior Bowl, so in those full team drills and in the game, I think he'll be able to display his true full skill set in front of the scouts and national crowd and media. I really do like him also for the Cowboys because he's kind of what they're missing. They didn't touch JJ McCarthy in that game. They got a pressure on him at the beginning of the game with the tip ball on a safety blitz, and that didn't even set the tone for the game. Cowboys lost that game. You don't lose to JJ McCarthy. It was just embarrassing. He gritted into the end zone. Romello Height is kind of what they need. Good pass rusher. Him, Ezeraku, Sam Williams, if they retain him. I mean, rest in peace to Marshawn Kneeland. It's just a tragic story. I'm sure they would wish to have him in the edge room. But Romello Height is an upgrade on what they currently have in Ezra Sam Williams. Buffalo Bills, I mean, that was a great comeback win against the Patriots. Patriots are frauds, sorry. The Bills are likely going to go defense. I don't love the fits here for defense. I'm going to go KC Conception. They really do need a field stretcher. They went after Brandon Cooks when he got released by the Saints. And yeah, he got open and he dropped a wide open pass. It's one of those things where they have no receivers. That has been such a mismanaged position by the team. I still think Keon Coleman is still good, but he's not going to be good there. They'll probably get rid of him in the offseason. They give that grace to young players. So KC Conception, I mean, what an athlete. He's just juicy. He's lightning in a bottle. He's fast. Not the strongest player and not the best hands. Unfortunately, a decent amount of drops. But his routes are not polished, but very good because he's a quick player. And his production from his freshman year, I mean, as you can see here, I mean, he pretty much matched his yards at Texas A&M in year 3 that he had as a freshman. He's a very good player. And I think that's kind of what the Bills are missing on offense. I'm sure they'll go defense, whether it's free agency or the draft later on. But get that receiver one that you are desperate that you are in desperate need of. Chicago Bears here at 25. I mean, the Bears they're such a young team with a year one head coach, and they're doing this good. I don't think I really want to touch offense. I'm sure they can go somewhere on the offensive line later in this draft. But outside of that, maybe running back also on day 3. Right now, they'll need defense. I'm going to go Keldrick Falk. I'm sure the NFL will be higher on him than the general media is. He's not really a sack monster, but his production dipped compared to last year. I think he did have 8 sacks and over 25 pressures a year ago. But he's a powerful player, strong hands, and the different productions. He's gotten most of the chips, whether it's a tight end or a running back. And unless you're Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons, you don't really beat those, especially in college. I mean, only guys like Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa beat them at the college level. Keldrick Falk still did produce with a decent amount of pressures. PFF has him at 28 hurries. Obviously, the sack production dipped, but hurries are very comparable. He kind of does line up everywhere. He's a big, powerful player. What a monster. And I think that's kind of what the Bears are missing. Austin Booker's kind of slowly developing. He's very inconsistent. Montez Sweat is good, but he's getting a little bit older, and the athleticism dips with age and injuries. So a guy like Keldrick Falk could come in and rotate on a down-to-down basis, but also be a game-changing player. Los Angeles Chargers, they need to protect Justin Herbert. I'm going to go Austin Sierreveld for them. I mean, he's had a great year as a tackle for Ohio State, but he was also very good last year at guard for Ohio State. And what do the Chargers need? They need a guard. Slide him right into guard. I think he's a very good pass protector with also an underrated nasty streak. And if that's what you're able to possess in this first round pick at guard, well, then why not? You kind of do need to upgrade the run blocking in the interior. And when you could protect Justin Herbert with someone like Sierreveld, why not? He's a taller guard, sure, listed at 6'5", but Justin Herbert is 6'5", so he can definitely throw over his lineman. There's no concern there. I like the fit here. 49ers, I mean, I'm tempted. No, that's perfect. Next pick. 49ers, I'm going to go Chris Brazell. He also declared for the draft recently, and he's a very solid player. With Brandon Ayuk being on the left squad list, and Kyle Shanahan pretty much saying, well, yeah, we haven't seen this guy. He's a bum. They're going to be thin at receiver. Ricky Pearsall has been hurt. Jawan Jennings is a free agent. Can't really rely on Demarcus Robinson and Kendrick Bourne for multiple years as they're into their 30s. So why not go Chris Brazell? 6'5", solid player. He needs polishing on his routes, but his release package is very good, and obviously the size and speed factors into this here. It could be a receiver one for you. You could have Pearsall move around, and then you could get a bona fide slot guy later or in free agency or something of that matter. The Browns, this is a slam dunk pick for them. I mean, Spencer Fano. For the Browns, they don't really have much on the offensive line. I'm sure they'll have 4 new starters after their center went down with an Achilles injury. DeJuan Jones has been injured, and there's been questions about his work ethic. It's just been a tough going for them on the offensive line. Their free agent signings haven't done anything, and draft picks haven't been great. Start anew with Spencer Fano, who at one point was a bona fide top 10 pick. He's kind of had a tougher year, but I still think he's very good. It's just the fits haven't matched, the teams haven't matched Spencer Fano's skill set or their needs haven't matched him until the Browns right here. I think pick 28, that might be the steal of the draft. If for in this hypothetical universe, I might say this is the steal of the draft. He's a very good player, definitely a top 20 player, and I like the fit. Bookend tackle, help protect your franchise QB potentially. Patriots do kind of need like edge rusher, but I don't think they need an undersized edge rusher. I'm gonna go Kenyon Sadiq. Hunter Henry's been great for them, but going someone like Kenyon Sadiq provides you with a pass catcher out of the slot or an inline tight end. He's an underrated blocker. I don't love him. He's my tight end too. I have a second round grade on him, but once you get past the 20s picks, it's like I said many times, whether it's on Twitter or in my first mock draft video. Once you're into the 20s, it's more on scheme fit and personality match than it is on your board because NFL teams usually have 20 to 25 first round grades. So Kenyon Sadiq, very good player. I'm sure some teams have a first round grade on him, but positional value and the type of player he is, he's kind of just like a vertical threat, speed tight end. He'll need to develop his skill set, and I'm sure they'll have Hunter Henry around for at least one more year. So why not have Kenyon Sadiq learn from him and develop his skill set behind him as like a backup, but also a rotational slot player. Seahawks will be losing Tariq Woolen likely to free agency, so why not replace him with just an overall better prospect? Yeah, he's not 6'5" and runs a 4.2, but Avion Terrell's very solid, very sticky in man coverage, and a good instinct zone player. Physical as a tackler, which obviously they lean for when it comes to players like Josh Jobe and Nick Manbury, Devon Witherspoon, who they took in the top 10 a few years back. That would really complete their defense, which is already top 3 in the NFL. You could argue to go guard here, but I don't really like the fits for guard. And you could also argue for receiver, but I'm sure they'll get someone in the later rounds. Plus, they have Torrey Horton, who, when healthy, is a difference maker. Rams went Caleb Downs earlier. I'm going to go kind of a surprise pick here. I'm going to go Elijah Surratt out of Indiana. I mean, this guy's just been a fantastic player over the past few years. Transfer from James Madison, came over with Curt Cignetti. Uh, what a great player. Yeah, he's not the fastest. Yeah, he's not the most electric player, but what very polished routes. You know, if I'm doing a pro comp for Elijah Surratt, it's Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua has been a great player, and yeah, well, you'd say, why do you want two archetypes like Puka Nacua? Well, why not? I mean, they could both play on the outside. They have both slot experience in college, and both strong-handed receivers with good production, and I project great production at the NFL level for someone like Elijah Surratt. So yeah, it's not your orthodox picks for the Rams, but if you come away in the first round with Caleb Downs and Elijah Surratt, I mean that is just projecting another high-powered year on offense and defense, and then you could get your bookend tackle in round 2 or 3, and then help your linebackers in round 2 or 3. Here we go, the last pick, the Denver Broncos. I mean they're just also a very complete team. I'm gonna go Anthony Hill here. Anthony Hill declared for the draft, so we know he's in this class. He's been a solid player the last few years for Texas, and his production has dipped, but linebackers, it's kind of hit or miss. You know, if they're not running the ball towards you, and if you're solid, if you're sound in coverage, and they're not throwing over your head, I mean, what really splash plays can you make? I really do like Anthony Hill. I mean, I think he'll fit that Sean Payton mindset. He's very tenacious when it comes to tackling and blitzing. He can also cover pretty well. I'm sure he could cover running backs and tight ends in certain man sets that I see them run. Combining him with Alex Singleton and Dre Greenlaw is kind of a dream come true for Vance Joseph if he's still the DC and not a head coach somewhere come April. All right, so that's my mock draft. You can see the full thing here. Um, we're almost at 100 subscribers, which honestly I'm very shocked and I'm thankful for. So if you're not subscribed and you are willing to follow me on this journey of improving my setup every week and improving my videos, then hit the subscribe button and like the video if you think you are a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. All right, that's it. Thank you guys.